Hey guys, this is Elysian Podfic, and today we're going to be reading Glowsticks and Bullet Holes by Hyperius. This is Chapter 20. Family is everything to Dick, which is why this all hurt so much. Knowing he not only failed Jason, but also his other brothers. His sweet little brothers who were stuck with Bruce and all of his cruelty for so long. Now, though, they're with him and Barry, away from the manor, confused and suspicious and longing to go home. A home of deceit and abuse. He can't let them go back, but he also fears they won't believe him when he tells them the truth. He fears their admiration and respect for Bruce will cloud their judgment as it did Dick's. With a deep breath, he walked into the room his younger brothers are staying in, a slightly sheepish smile on his face. Damien glared at him, small pout on his lips, while Tim looked up from his phone, eyebrows raised. Gonna enlighten us on why we're staying with Barry, or gonna keep on with your secrets? His boys. Straight to the point, per usual. There really was no hiding anything from them. At least, not for too long. Dick took his seat on the bed next to Tim, hunched over slightly as his smile turned incredibly strained. Okay, yeah, well, we aren't going back to the manor for a bit. Excuse me? Damien scoffed. I don't believe you have the authority to make that decision, Grayson. I do, but it's not just me making that decision. It's a few of us, Green Lantern and Flash included. Tim narrowed his eyebrows, staring at Dick as mental calculations ran through his mind. Why? Why? That is one question he was hoping to avoid, but knew he'd never be able to. He knew he'd have to share the dreaded news. It's just so soon. He looked down at his lap. We learned some stuff, unfortunately. Some stuff? Spit it out, Grayson. I'm losing my patience. Dick heaved a heavy sigh. We learned Bruce, he wasn't completely honest with us. He hurt Jason badly. He nearly killed Jason, actually. The truth is, he's been abusing Jason, and there's a chance he's been abusing us too. There was a clatter as Damien shot up from his seat, eyes burning with raw fury as he glared. Do not speak ill of my father. I do not know what Todd, he basically spat at him, has said to you, but it's most certainly a lie. It's not. I believed it was too at the beginning, but the thing is, Jason was trying to deny the accusations. Tim frowned. He was? Yeah. Dick let out yet another sigh. He was. But we found the videos from Bruce's cowl and the scar on Jason. You can't deny hard proof. Preposterous. It's simply Todd trying to frame father. It's all fake. I'm so sorry, Damie. Dick pulled Damien against his chest and hugged him tightly, ignoring the way the boy pounded his little fist against Dick's chest as he tried to argue against the accusations. I know this is hard to accept. It's not real. It can't be. Father would never do that. He would never. Dick swallowed. Maybe, only maybe, he wouldn't do it to you. Though it's likely he gaslit all of us into overlooking him. Liar! You are a liar! Damien finally shoved his way from Dick's embrace, turning his glare at him. Drake, why aren't you saying anything? Do you believe these lies? Dick watched him shrug. I mean, Bruce never was too nice to Jason, or any of us. I never figured it would get that bad, but I can't say I'm particularly surprised. What? Dick looked at Tim, shock evident on his features. Why didn't you say anything before? Would any of you believed me if I did? Would any of you believed me if I did? That very well could have come from Jason's mouth. Did his two brothers really believe no one would have listened to them? Oh God. How had he failed them? How had he made them feel so alone? Like no one was on their side? They felt like they couldn't go to anyone over Bruce's cruelty and fuck. I'm so sorry, Tim. He pulled his younger brother tightly against his chest, eyes burning with tears. I didn't mean... You shouldn't have... I should have been there for you. He should have been there for all of them. I should have been better. Dick. Tim wrapped his arms around his brother. It's not your fault. We were all tricked, myself included. So stop with that whole guilt thing. You're here now, okay? You're both imbeciles. Damien looked between his two brothers. Both of you. Father would never do such things. Damie, it's not true, and I'll prove it. Damien. Dick reached out, catching his youngest brother's wrist. Damie. He's facing trial at the hands of the Justice League tomorrow. It's real. It's real. He watched as Damien's lower lip began to waver, and he watched as Damien's eyes began to shine. He was prepared for when his little brother dove into his chest, silent sobs racking his shoulders. Dick held him tightly, rubbing soothing circles into his back. There was no denying the accusations when the Justice League got involved, and it was time his brother broke. He had to face the truth. And for as mature as Damien is, the truth was still harsh and ruthless. Frankly, it all went better than he thought it would, but still. The grief was palpable in the room, and the tension thick and suffocating. With his free hand, he reached out and grabbed Tim, pulling the other boy to his chest as well. He held both his brothers close to his heart and refused to let go. Sure, Tim has told them that it wasn't his fault, and that he shouldn't feel guilty, but he did. He's the eldest, and he's the one that knows Bruce best. He should have noticed it all, and he should have listened to Jason and Tim. He should have been their escape when they felt there was nowhere else to run. He should have listened. He should have answered their calls. He should have answered Jason's call. The call that could have kept his brother from fleeing to Ethiopia. The call that could have kept him alive, and fuck, it's all his fault. Everything is all his fault. His embrace tightened, and he ducked his head. He may have failed them all previously, but no more. No more. He's going to protect them, whether they like it or not. Whether they believe him or not, it doesn't matter. Not anymore. All that matters now is his brothers and their safety. Don't worry, guys. He kissed Damien's forehead, and then Tim's. Everything is gonna be alright. I'll make sure of it. By the time Hal came back, the sun was beginning to set. Thankfully, Dick gave him the all-clear for the conversation with his brothers. The Green Lantern was sure the conversation was painful, but it didn't turn violent and nothing blew up. So Dick likely had it all under control. After they were sure Dick was safe with his brothers, Barry and Hal worked through the day to ensure that evidence was inexcusable and good enough to present to their teammates. They only had one chance at this, and they were going to be certain they would be able to get Batman suspended. They worked to create a foolproof argument. Bruce was a genius, and he knew how to worm his way around just about anything. But they couldn't let that happen now. They needed to be certain they would win, and so they worked. They worked and workshopped and yelled and ripped their hair from their head, but they did it. They did it. And after nearly the entire day spent on crafting their perfect argument, they were done. Hal went home, exhaustion settling deep within his bones and his soul. He pushed his door open and stopped in his tracks, eyes raking over the scene before him. Roy was still over, unsurprisingly, and snuggling Jay on the couch, small smile on both their faces. Jason was the little spoon, so to speak, curled tightly against Roy's chest as they watched the movie. Guy was next to Jason, looking only slightly put out from being denied access to the cuddles. Hal chuckled, tense shoulders drooping as the stress of the day slowly seeped out of his muscles. His feet moved before he could think, dropping him all but on Guy's lap as he finally relaxed after his little hell. He felt fingers run against his scalp, and he practically purred, muscles going limp against his friend. Long day? Hal nodded. Yeah, real long day. Guy hummed. Anything I can do? Not really. He looked over at Roy and Jason, both of whom were staring down at him, little matching mischievous grins on their face. Roy spoke first. Need a little massage to help with the stress? Hal heard the innuendo in his tone and scowled. Shut up. He still needs to speak with Jason. He still needs to convince this boy not to go to the meeting tomorrow in fear of what Bruce would do and say. In fear he would be able to convince Jason to go back. But maybe that's a later tonight problem. Maybe, right now, he can just enjoy the movie and the company of his family. Then again, when does he ever have such luck? Guy spoke to me. Oh no. He looked up to Jason. Told me some stuff, but I wanted to be there. Where? Hal knows already. He still wants to hear it, though. When you hold a trial for B, I want to be there. I'm not sure that's a good idea. I don't care. Jason let out a slow, calming breath. It's my battle. My battle you've been fighting for me. I can't keep running, not from him or the issue at hand. I need to be there. I need to see this finished. Hal frowned. I don't like it, but he gets it. And that's why he hates it. He gets it. If he was in Jason's place, he'd want the exact same thing. Maybe that's why, despite his conviction to persuade Jason into staying away, he surrenders to the boys' argument so easily. But fine. You just need a promise to listen to Guy and I. It's going to be hard on you. Jason nodded, pushing himself a bit more into Roy's chest. I know it's going to be hard. His voice was barely a whisper when he spoke. But when has it ever been easy? I'll be fine, okay? So don't worry about me. I will worry. Hal reached over and ruffled Jason's hair. I'll worry 'cause I care. Yeah, whatever. But Hal saw the little smile on Jason's face, so he knew he said the right thing. It reassured him, just a bit. He turned his attention away from Jason and back to the screen, discreetly snuggling against Guy as he lost himself into the movie and allowed himself a break from the drama of whirling through his mind. We'll get through this, together, no matter what. Alright guys, that is the end of chapter 20 of Glowsticks and Bullet Holes by Hyperion, so I hope you guys liked it, and I'll see you next chapter.